Good morning, everyone. We have a kind of a tempest outside in terms of the storm that Mumbai is experiencing. And today, we are privileged to talk to someone who, in some senses, is trying to rest the tempest in our minds and the chaos in our society. I'm delighted to welcome Sri M, who is a well known spiritual teacher, social reformer, educationist, and author. That's a multiple hats. So let's give him a very warm round of applause. And as mentioned, in this chaotic world that we exist, uh, we hope that we would be enlightened by his presence and his thoughts on changing mindsets and how we could bring calm into our lives. But let me start a little biographical. Your name is a bit curious, right? There's Sri M. You were born and your parents named you as Mumtaz Ali Khan. So why did you change your name? You know, we have this famous Bollywood star, Dilip Kumar. If you recall, he changed his name from Mohammad Yusuf Khan to Dilip Kumar to avoid the stigma of being a Muslim in a Hindu majority and therefore get. Was that the reason, or what really made you change your name?
Okay. Now I'm going to start half a minute
Sure.
with a shloka,
Oh,
which is
okay.
in Sanskrit, kind of explains, but.
Right.
And the shloka is Sarve bhavantu sukinaha, Sarve santu niramaya, Sarve bhadrani pashyantu, Ma kaschid dukkhapat bhavet. Last time I chanted this in a function, somebody asked me, are you an RSS man? Because they have their prayers start
Right.
like this. So I asked them, which year was Dr. Hedgever born?
Uh-huh.
Sometime in the 1980s. And which year was this written? When? 1000 years ago from the Vedas. So it is this misunderstanding of human life that makes people get into trouble. Like when I first wrote my book, Jewel in the Lotus, my good friend and elderly person, Sardar Kushwant Singh ji asked me, are you a BJP man? Because of the lotus. Now the lotus is an ancient symbol. A political party might have acquired it as a symbol, but that doesn't mean anything. So, at the age of 19, interested in the teachings of the Upanishads and so on,
Uh, Please, sir, if you could hold it a little closer.
at the age of 19, some Khans went off to Bollywood and one Khan went off to the Himalayas. Now there I met my master, Maheshwarnath Babaji, and it is under his influence that I learnt all the teachings of this ancient land that we have, which are very valuable teachings. So, when he initiated me into the Nath Sampradaya, he called me Madhukarnath. Mumtaz Ali is also M. Madhukarnath is also M. But I love it when people call me Sri M, because M means Manushya, Manav, human being. So, while you said, why did you change my name? This is my new ID, but I have not changed my name in my Aadhaar card, in my passport, in my visa. It's the same old name that is going.
Okay, since we did touch a bit about the impressions that other people had that you may have been a BJP, maybe part of the RSS, let's also look as we debate, as we discuss this subject, as to how you see the new Hindutva revival. Now, there could be the fact that it is, they're ruling for almost 10 years, now 11th year. Uh, we have also seen a major resurgence in terms of temple building, a lot of idolatry. Is that the Hindutva that is the right, or the Hinduism that is right? Or are we only looking at a very narrow strand of Hinduism and there is a vast ocean that we are yet to discover?
First of all, the word Hindu cannot be made into a narrow definition. It's impossible to do that if you look at it actually, because it is supposed to be Sanatana. It cannot be made. Yeah, some political parties have taken over the what we call the Hindutva line. There's nothing wrong with that because for a long time it was neglected, thrown out.
Right.
So it's come back, it has acquired a new respect. All that is true. But personally, I think humanity and politics should and religion should stay separate. They should not get all mixed up. The problem is because of the mixing up. Um, if I have started this session by saying Assalamu alaikum, everybody have said, oh, he must be Jamaat Islam. One of my reasons why I am working on this, why Babaji asked me to go and talk, is that the ancient teachings of the Hindu system of thought have nothing to do with politics or narrow thinking or anything of this kind. It's very wide. Otherwise, why would 1,000 years ago the Upanishads declare, Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu, may the entire world be happy? Not this geographical location, not this, not that. May the entire world be happy. Now that is what I am looking at, the roots, not the avatars that it takes. It can take, then it can go, some more avatars can happen. I'm looking at the essence.
Now, it's just, may not be coincidental that you also were born to the Muslim faith. And we are passing through a time in this country where there is a lot of vilification of the minorities, particularly in the political sphere. Now, how do you view this? Is also conflict. Right? We cannot avoid this and say, let's just reset our mind. It's happening in society.
Very true.
There is a fear factor being developed about the other.
Right.
Do we need to do this? What is, are we corrupting a beautiful thought, religion, whatever you might call it, into a very narrow dimension?
Sir, I have this to say. Wherever you see good, wherever you see something constructive, accept it. Where you see something which is not constructive and destructive, avoid it and abandon it. It doesn't matter which religion. This is my theory. This is what I hold on to. There have been great Sufi saints. It's not that there haven't been. There also have been extreme Islamic activities. So you can't always put only one side on the balance. You need to look at the other side also.
So what would your advice be? Because here again we are in a turmoil in society, and we are seeing the kind of incidents that are happening. Both sides may be to blame. I'm not saying one side or the other. So, where does the reform process begin? Let's put it that way.
Here.
Okay?
The reform process begins in people like me who study both sides, who understand it to their depths and try to take what is good and discard. There is a mythical bird called the Paramahamsa. So white swan. If you mix milk and water and keep it before it, it will put its beak inside and take the milk and leave the water. We should look at it that way and try to, because this is a vast country. You cannot throw those who do not believe in a certain ideology across the Arabian Sea. This is not possible. So we need to accommodate, we need to look, we need to change. But the minorities also should understand that we are living in a majority country where there is a great culture which has been there for 2,000-3,000 years or more. You cannot ignore it. You need to look at it. If you look, the problem is misunderstanding, misinformation, and of course politics. I did a Padayatra from Kanyakumari to Kashmir.
Yes, in 2015.
Yes, 1 year and 3 months on the road. It was not a political journey.
It was not, sorry?
It's not a political affair. It was Manav Ekta mission. In fact, many people asked me, after this, will you join politics? I said, no, sorry. This is not my cup of tea. And therefore, this kind of movements are very important. Where you talk to people, we learnt more than we could contribute during the walk. What I learnt was, the average Bharatiya, Indian citizen, does not want to create problems or fight or disintegrate, whoever he may be. It is this politics that gets into the picture, maybe for votes, and turns the whole thing upside down. This is my understanding.
And I mean, we will come to the personal side and the individual side, but taking the points that you made and the fact that our spiritual thought is over 2,500 years old, what is the Hindutva that you would say, if you had to call this term Hindutva, for lack of another word? I don't want to associate it with the party. Or what is that spiritual
Anyway,
thought?
I am not with any political party.
What is that spiritual thought that captures the essence of India, which we are missing currently by, just focusing on rituals, idolatry? What is that spiritual thought? Are we missing that?
I always say, go back to the roots. And the roots of this entire teaching that we have today, so-called Hindu teachings, Hindu is a word coined by the Arabs. It's in the Upanishads. Upanishads.
Upanishad.
So therefore, I lay great stress on the matter that you should go back to the Upanishads. There is no philosophical, religious work in this world which is so advanced in its thinking. 2000 years ago, maybe, at a normal estimate, could be more. Now, if you do that, and I also lay stress on Sanskrit, not because of Hindutva. Sanskrit is an ancient language. Even you can do computer science on Sanskrit. Now, if you don't know Sanskrit and somebody else interprets it for you, you're in trouble. I am saying, introduce Sanskrit, and nobody is doing it. I said to universities, make Sanskrit one part, optional. Even spoken Sanskrit would do.
Of course, here it will be seen as another imposition by the ruling party.
Then you go straight in and find the roots for yourself. You don't let other
Right.
people take you for a ride.
Right. We've had actually a political statement, which is a very interesting statement, which came out from Rahul Gandhi in the thick of the elections, which was, and in fact in his Bharat Jodo Yatra, which was Mohabbat ka dukaan kholna ye nafrat ke bazaar mein. What is your thought? Does that in some senses, you talk of love, you talk of this, does that in any way reflect, or how do you see a thought like that?
Sir, I have only one thing to say. Love is great. You should love everybody and so on and so forth. But मोहब्बत की दुकान नहीं खोल सकते, because दुकान means business. You buy and you sell. ऐसा नहीं हो सकता. आप मोहब्बत की महफिल बनाइए. This will be more accurate than saying dukan. Dukan is again sales, coming, going, selling. So I think mohabbat ki mehfil, and there is no shortage of that in our ancient scriptures. If there was, why would the statement loka samasta sukhino bhavantu come from? Sarve bhavantu sukhina.
Please translate. A lot of us have not studied.
Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May the entire world be happy. Sir, Sanskrit has to be learnt, I'm telling you. In this country, if you have to understand. The other is, Sarve bhavantu sukhinaha. May everybody be happy. Is this not mohabbat? I'm just asking you. And Sarve bhavantu sukhinaha, sarve santu, sarve bhadrani pashyantu. Let everybody see that is auspicious. Ma, let no one have pain.
So you were talking of happiness.
Happiness.
Let's define happiness. In your opinion, what is happiness? We've all searched for it. Many may have found it like you. We are still searching. Where are we?
I have seen very rich people. I have seen very poor people. Seen big businessmen, great politicians. For some reason, I can sit and talk to face with many big people today. I also see poor people who work in my house, my driver, my gardener. The happiness quotient is neither here nor there. It's in a person whose mind is settled.
Mind is, sorry?
Settled.
Settled.
It's not as if you have lots of money. In fact, too much of fame and too much of money and too much of power can take away happiness. It doesn't bring happiness. And we are taught that this is what brings happiness. So it's the other way around.
But can you define this ephemeral quality? What is happiness?
I will tell you. In this world, you cannot expect the world to make you happy. It's a tumultuous world, I understand. And why? Because it is the nature of the world to change, to move. There's ancient Upanishad called the Ishavasya Upanishad. When I say Ishavasya Upanishad, nothing to do with any modern organization of that name. It's an ancient Upanishad. In the Ishavasya Upanishad, it says, Ishavashyamidam sarvam. That supreme happiness, reality pervades everything here. Yat kincha jagatyam jagat. That means this world is called jagat because it is constantly in movement. You cannot stop it. It is cyclic. There is creation or manifestation, if you want to put it the Sankhya way, manifestation. And then there is definitely a pralaya when it is going. Just as Jesus Christ said, every hill shall be brought low and every valley shall be filled. This is normal. So this, you cannot expect to change the world and make it peaceful and happy. It will be like this. But in the middle of all this, we have a certain location in our inner psyche which can be kept peaceful and happy. That we can do. If we can do that, I believe that the problems of the world are not created by the world but by you and me. If I change, if I have peace in my heart, I can change the world. But I need many more. One isolated individual still has limits. We need many more people who understand this. Like Kabir Das's story, where he said about the Kasturi Mriga, the musk deer, it's a small little deer, under its belly, it produces musk. In that season, when the musk is produced, there's a fragrance in the air, beautiful fragrance. And the poor deer goes searching for the source of the fragrance, thinking that it is here, it is there, pokes its snout into thorny bushes, bleeds, but doesn't know that it is coming from under his belly button. We in Vedanta say that this is in us. No matter what the external circumstances are, if I tune myself to it and learn how to go deep within, I have touched a beautiful, I won't say island, a beautiful state of peace, happiness, contentment, which not doesn't make you lethargic or sleepy or not wanting. In fact, it makes you work better with greater intelligence, sharp, but not get ruffled.
Now, you could also argue, counter argue, that we were born to see this world which is troubled. 5,000 years, there have been so many messiahs that have come. The world is not at peace. Are we fooling ourselves into thinking that there is a beyond? That maybe all the troubles of life is really what we need to experience rather into a utopian. We have to change this mindset because there is peace, but we never find that peace. Are we fooling ourselves?
I'm not talking
Are you living a lie?
I'm not talking about the future or what is change. I'm talking about now.
Right.
Idam, sarvam. Now the change has to happen, not in the future, not a theoretical change. What has happened is we listen to all the great teachers who have come. When we go out into the world, we forget it and do exactly what we are doing. We have to change. I think the change is possible. Otherwise, there is no hope. The peace flows from within. If that doesn't happen, I cannot change the world. I can change the world. I can make it more economically great. I can make it powerful. I can make missiles. But I cannot make the happiness quotient constant.
No, in traditional Hindu spiritual thought, you have two ways of living life. The karmic way, where you accept the fullness of life and live it and understand the purpose.
Yes.
And you also have the ascetic way,
Yes.
which is the rejection
Right.
of life in
Right.
all its fullness and go into your inner world as it is. Now, again, there you see a certain duality and a conflict that exists. I do not have the luxury to exit. You probably did that when you were young. You moved into the mountains and went into asceticism and understood what life is about. In the karmic world, which we all live, what are the 3 or 4 things we must do to understand the fundamental questions of who am I? Why do I exist? What's my purpose?
Yeah. I have one thing to say. While you're young, even now, when you're middle-aged, always keep some time apart. And it's possible. where you can retire from the world temporarily for a few days and give thought to the inner. Not just stay with this tumult that's happening. You should keep some time apart, just as you keep some time apart for relaxing. Busy executives go to some Coorg or somewhere and they relax. The only spirit, of course, you get is that one comes in the bottle, but it next day gives you a headache. So, when you set apart some time, when you can actually keep your mind away from the ordinary things of life, but you don't have to become sannyasins. It's not everybody's cup of tea. Today, I think sannyasins may have more problems than us. Huge organizations to lead
Right.
and so on and so forth. What I mean is, small periods of solitude are necessary. Without that solitude, then when you come out of it and face the world, you're able to work on it properly. That solitude is essential. It is there in all religions. People go off for solitude for some time. That doesn't mean you're discarding everything and running away to the hills. You cannot go. Babaji used to tell me, my guru, suppose you meditate for 10 hours, in 10 hours in a cave every day for 10 years and say, now I'm at peace, my mind is at
Inner
rest.
peace.
What does it mean? Because there is nobody there to get angry with. You can't get angry with the cave, you can't be jealous of the cave. You know it when you come out and get into a bus and somebody kicks you on your foot. Especially if it's a stiletto heel, then you'll know where you stand. So this world is the testing point for you. And therefore we need some periods of solitude where we can reflect and figure out that there is deep inside us a sea of peace and happiness, which we can find. You don't need any special mantras for that. Nothing is required. Quietness is required.
The other term that is used these days is mindfulness. Again, we are getting into slogans and terminologies. The question is, why are we so against our minds? God has given, or whoever brought us in has given a brilliant mind to us. Why should we be mindful of our minds?
No, no, no. We should not be against your mind. That is the greatest uh, thing that has been given to us. It can be used for creative purposes. The moment it begins to act destructive, then we need to do something to change. Because it's not enough that I am happy, my neighbors also have to be happy. The moment it turns dangerous, the moment it turns negative, then you need to work on it. Otherwise, the mind is the most powerful instrument that has been given to us. You can bring about great changes with your mind. I'm not, when I say mindful, meaning keep watching your mind that it doesn't get into mischief. That's all. Apart from that, it is not required. Mind should be allowed to expand, not to contract.
And not to be treated as a monkey. They keep talking of the monkey in your
Yeah.
mind. Yeah.
When the mind keeps jumping, actually it loses a lot of energy. You need to find out some way by which it can be quietened down a bit. A quiet mind is a creative mind and a mind full of energy. We require such people, especially among the young these days. And I must say this, I wish the media also starts thinking about this. You are the guys who can spread
Yeah.
the
We'll
message.
take a deep breath on that. And but coming to that, we've got about 6 minutes left. Let's look at some practical, if you could call it, tips that we could do in our daily lives and make ourselves not just better minds but better human beings.
Yes. In the system that I have learned all these years, there are many ways of doing it, but the simplest, which does not even have a religious connotation, is what we call watching the breath. It's also
Watching the
there in
breath.
yeah, it's also there in Vipassana. For the simple reason that many people believed at one time that the brain was one working as a unit. It does work as a unit, but there is a left brain and a right brain, and they usually do not coordinate. This is the
Right.
problem. So if there is something by which you can make the left brain and the right brain coordinate, then you have touched the essence of peace and being. Uh, which is why we practice what is called hum saw, which means watching the breath carefully as you inhale and you exhale, and chanting the sound of hum when you inhale and saw when you exhale, even if you don't chant.
Should we ask our audience to do a hamsa for a minute?
Absolutely.
Anyone?
It is a
Everyone?
very, very
Just 1 minute.
You don't have
Just
to.
show them that.
Yeah. So it's like this: sit in a comfortable posture. Forget about your belief systems. Don't worry about that. Sit in a comfortable posture. First, don't close your eyes now. Close your eyes and watch your breath. No, we don't give any attention to our breath. So as you inhale, give full attention to that, and in your mind chant the sound of hum. Then hold it for a second, exhale. As you exhale, chant in your mind the sound of saw. So hum, saw, hum, saw. Just do that for 5 minutes, not even 5 minutes, 3 minutes. I'm going to do it with you. So you can start. 1, 2, 3. Now, this can be better done in a quieter place, not where the AC is roaring, but like near the village, near the sea, near the river, even on your terrace when you're sitting quiet. Do it at least for 5 minutes every day. And you see the difference. Proof
But
of the pudding is
I
in
think
the
we're already feeling a little calmer.
Now calm down.
But let's deal with, we got time is ticking, and that's more important than a lot of things. But let's deal with a few issues. How do you deal with anger?
How?
Best way to deal with anger.
Now you know what anger is? Anger is when the body is filled with adrenaline. Adrenaline is pumped more into the bloodstream. Then you're angry, your breathing is hard, you're doing. We are saying, first understand that you could have done things better without getting angry. First, that is to be angry. If I say, no, no, I like to be angry, there is no hope. Good, be angry till your heart retires. But if you decide, no, I do not want to be angry because I can take better decisions without getting angry. I can calm my mind down without getting, and even my decisions would be proper. Then,
So what would you say? Hold your tongue, or to deal with anger? What is it that you would say?
no, no. First, decide that anger is not constructive, is not going to do any good. Many things have been going according to plan when somebody gets angry and this. Today I see in the parliament, you know, uh, of course the opposition will oppose, the treasury benches will oppose the opposition, all that is
You
fine.
saw Dr. Chidambaram and said this.
Right. But why the anger? Why can't we do it quietly without getting angry as if we are going to eat the other fellow sitting there? Why can't we do it quietly? So I think in yoga we have an exercise by which the adrenaline can be controlled.
Fear. How do
Yes.
you deal with fear? That's the other thing a lot of people have.
Fear.
Fear of losing job, fear of losing life, fear of losing your loved ones. Fear is a big factor in us.
Fear is part of life. You cannot avoid fear. But if you find that in the essence of your being you have found peace, then no matter what happens, there is no element of fear out there. See, if I realize that I am not just this body but I am something else, what matters is somebody slapped me? You see, the fear is mostly psychological. It's because of my ego, whether my ego will be broken, somebody will run. I would say, if a girl who thinks she's in love with me, who thinks, runs away, it's nice, I am free. So there are different ways of looking at this.
Not many would agree here, but they love the heartbreak.
No, heartbreak is good.
Okay,
Heartbreak is not a bad thing.
right.
When the heart breaks, sympathy, compassion, many things come out of that heart.
And so let's end with that. Define, if you can, love, and how does one get love. I'm now talking of all forms of love are there. Right?
If you say love, then nobody seeks returns.
Nobody seeks a return for love.
Return. If you love, you love. I mean, you don't say, I love, therefore I must get this. I love, therefore somebody must give me this. When you say love, it is something to give, not to take. If you do that, even if you get nothing, you have the satisfaction of saying, yes, I love. It's not easy. One has to be brave to do that, sir. To love without expecting anything in return is not so easy at all, but it is possible. Great people have tried it and have won. I would say that love is the most inspiring emotion that a human being can develop, because it takes away all the hatred and all the negativity that is around. And if one person really loves, it's infectious. Other people catch on. They know that this guy means good, he's never mean any harm. That is very important. So, मोहब्बत की महफिल खोलिए. मोहब्बत की दुकान नहीं, दुकान से तो दुकान मीन शॉप, गिव एंड टेक, बाय, गिव, सेल. मोहब्बत की महफिल खोलिए.
So
Let everybody come together and sit down and enjoy your महफिल.
So we will add to your 3M to make it 3Ms. M. Mohammed Kamefil. Ladies and gentlemen, 3M. Thank you very, very much. Thank you.